Welcome, 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 one and all. Yes, welcome, welcome, and thrice welcome, gamers, one and all. It's episode 19, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 19 of the Generation X Gaming Club. With your hosts, me, of course, Clive, aka Lord Kensal. Check out the branding. And
me, of course, Rokk. Generation Retro X Club Gaming thing. Check out my branding.
Check it
right out.
The merch. Check out the merch. Generation X Retro Gaming Club, ladies and gentlemen, is all about gaming old and new from the older gamer perspective. We're talking level 40 and up. Yeah. We're talking XP points to the max in this game called life, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are all well, chat. Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. And if you're new here, thank you. Thank you very, very much. Please subscribe. And everyone in chat, after 3, hit that like button. Hit the like button. Say hi in the chat. Buy the merch. Do all of that stuff. And we should be set for another great show, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm hoping. In tonight's show, of course, we have all the latest news, interesting articles from the world of gaming. On this day in gaming history, of course, a look back at the archives of gaming to find out what was happening on this day in yesteryear and all of that. Of course, we also have the ever popular round of the Generation X game. Oh, didn't he do well? Didn't he do well? Yes. But, ladies and gentlemen, before all of that, before we commence with all that wonderful goodness, let us know what games you've been playing in the chat. Put it in the chat. Let us know. Share with the group. Adam, what games have you been playing?
Well, Clive, I've just been playing. I mean, we did a little bit of Bomberman and stuff on Friday, but mainly I've been playing 2 games. I've been continuing Control on the PC, which I'm really enjoying. Clocked up a few hours in that now. And then the other big one is Marvel Avengers on Stadia, which I've played about. I reckon I've played about 15 hours. And I've only got 25% through the game. So
15 hours of Marvel Avengers.
Yeah, and I'm just literally 27% through the main campaign. So everyone that says it's only 4 hours long, I don't know what they were doing, but I'm still cracking away at it.
Wow. And you're enjoying it? Do you recommend it?
Yeah, it's getting better. Initially I thought, I don't know, this feels a bit rinse and repeat, and it was kind of plodding along, but as it's expanded, without giving too much away, as I've kind of evolved through the game, what's interesting is that it is actually turning into more like a Destiny. You've literally got little vendors and different places you can go to that are like little hubs and little home spots and stuff. Lots of sort of, you can use materials to cash in for various bits and pieces and stuff. So it's kind of going down that way. I can see how, you've got to go off and do certain missions to win materials to come back and get cosmetic items, armor, and
Okay, so
costumes,
it's got that very Destiny, as you say.
It's kind of got that going on. But yeah, I mean, I'm only 27% of the way through the campaign, so I'm sure I've only unlocked 3 of the characters.
And they're adding more characters later down the line as well.
Yeah. Well, in fact, again, without giving too much away, even though you've got 6 Avengers that you essentially can control, throughout the game, you do meet other people from the same universe, other characters that you would classify as superheroes. Some of them are obviously villains, but others are allies that work with you. So yeah, it's a full-on Marvel universe.
Very good.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it.
That's good. Interesting. Okay, I noticed in chat, Steady Krampus, they've been playing Windbound. Well, yeah. too many prunes. Rokk, Avengers, Dazzadini, Rogue Company.
That's big.
Yeah. I enjoyed Rogue Company.
Did you play it?
Yeah,
I
I played
haven't
it.
yet. How much is it? Because it's not free, is it?
I played when it was free.
Okay.
I don't know whether
it is going to be free eventually, apparently.
Yeah,
according to Chase.
Yeah, I think that's the idea.
Yeah, but I
So
don't know
it was
when.
a lot of fun.
Oh, it looks
Pick up
good.
and play.
Yeah.
Just takes, it's simplistic, takes the best elements of that kind of genre and sort of puts them together in quite a nice little package. So that's quite good. Anyway, me, I've been playing Super Bomberman, of course, Hello Neighbor, which I was talking about yesterday very briefly on Stadium Monday Night Chat, and how it's a popular game to stream. Anecdotally, from my stats, whatever, people like watching it. As I say, I don't know whether it's because, you need help. If you've never played it, it's a lot of trial and error to kind of work out what the hell you're meant to do. There's not many clues. It's not like a sort of a console platforming game where there are sort of certain clues or you apply a certain logic to it. Even with Little Nightmares, for instance, as a platforming game, which didn't have many clues, you could kind of work it out. And once you worked out the puzzle, the console sort of the platforming, the way the game was designed made it easy for you to then go to the next bit that you had to do. If you move a block, it moves a block in a very precise way, and that's fine. Think about Hello Neighbor. It's one of these ridiculous ragdoll physics things. So trying to move a block is very frustrating. Pick up a box, put it down, it falls over, and it's like, okay, pick it up again. I want to put it down precisely, and then it tumbles down. And it's all that kind of humans fall flat, kind of silly ragdoll physics that you get a bit like get packed, and that can be frustrating when you're doing a sort of puzzle game. But I think that's what people like watching it. And I know it is a popular style method on PC games, and it might be easier with a mouse and keyboard. I don't know, but I'm a controller guy. But Hitman, I've enjoyed playing a lot. I played the intro before on Xbox. I think it was a free trial of it. But I played through a few levels now, a couple of levels, and it's just a lot of fun. Frustrating, and as I said yesterday, when you get to a point, you've messed up when you start killing everybody in sight. It's going to end badly. That's never a good sign. But yeah, so those are the main things that keeping me busy and entertained. So that's all good. Dave would also tell me when you're Act 3, Clive, and we'll work through together. Yeah, I must admit, I streamed Hello Neighbor, and if it wasn't for Dave, I would have struggled. He'd already done the level I'd started, and so he sort of hint, clue, till he had to spell it out to me. But it helped, and I think that's why people watch those videos.
I see you're covering up the crystal skull tonight, Clive.
Yes, did you? I was waiting for you to notice my backdrop. Did you like my backdrop, ladies and gentlemen?
I think it's excellent.
In honor of, what was her name?
I can't remember her name. Ruth, I think. Was it Ruth?
Anyway, hello, my dear. And it was,
well, that was creepy.
Hello, my dear. And old clown face and his crystal skull body. No. Anyway, there's a reference everybody watched last week. So this is in honor of that and the great discovery I made.
That was so funny.
Anyway, shall we get to the news?
Let's do it.
Gentlemen, let's do the news. Okay, well, Xbox price leaks. Well, there's two news stories which kind of merge into each other here. So why don't you take about the price leaks here?
This was, I woke up to this and I know, so it kind of broke, I think it must have broke between late, so very early morning and what was reported as a leak, although Xbox kind of tweeted quite a whimsical little GIF which I've seen it before. But in essence, very quickly after this, they admitted that, yeah, okay, we give in. This is true. Of course, two big bits of news out of this. One was the prices, which I think was $299 and $400 respectively. But there was the $299 one, that we're seeing now, the Xbox Series
Xbox Series X,
which is the one that people pricked people's ears up, because in essence it is a pared back, slimline, 1080p yet 4K ready next gen console, which is, it's even slightly smaller than the current series of Xboxes.
Yeah.
Now that kind of came from nowhere, so that really did set Twitter alight this morning.
Well, we've been talking about it on this show quite a lot.
Well, we knew that there was going to be
it existed.
Yeah, and what was it called? Shoehorn or Matterhorn or something, or I forget what.
Come on now, Lockhart.
Lockhart, that was it.
Shoehorn, that'll do.
It's
shoehorned all the tech.
It's about the size of a shoehorn.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody. I mean, I think what people thought was that you would get something that kind of looked the same as its larger sibling, but without the disk drive, which is in essence what PlayStation are bringing out with the PS5 and the PS5 digital. Little did anybody know that it would actually be marginally bigger than a book, which is in essence what they have there. So that's going to be coming out at $299 US, $249 UK, which isn't quite current currency reductions. I think it should be about $220 because the pound is so rubbish. But it's kind of what you would expect.
But it's a normal rate you'd expect.
Yeah,
$50
to yeah, absolutely. So on the one hand, it's 1080p. Is that future proof? If everybody is moving into 4K, if the future's about ray tracing and everything else, but who's
that future for though? Really, right now?
Well,
it's just for the
real. It depends on the longevity of the next gen console, of course. So it's largely how long we're expecting this thing to kick around. I mean, Cloudy pointed out, Duncan, that it may run locally at 1080p. But it has 4K, it's 4K ready for streaming. Yeah. So the question mark is this or is this not in truth a halfway house between the full-blown next-gen Xbox X and xCloud, or at least Microsoft's cloud gaming solution?
I think what it is it is a value offering in a time where asking people to fork out $500 on a console seems a big ask for the majority. So if you've got an Xbox, or even I'm talking Xbox One, or even an Xbox One S, then at this price, it's sort of, you know what? It's worth the upgrade for the casual gamer, for little Johnny, for you to sort of justify spending. Okay, it's about time I upgrade my Xbox One. This is a massive leap from an Xbox One, and it's quite a big leap from an Xbox One S. So it's enough of a leap for your average gamer at a good price level. And that's the key thing. It's, I think if Xbox didn't have an in-between offering, as it were, then, an Xbox One X is effectively a specialist machine in the world of consoles. Yeah. It's for those top-end console gamers who want the best of the best, but that's a smaller market. You've got to have a price offering which gets the bigger share of the market, and then people later on down the line might upgrade to Xbox One Series X and then hand the Xbox X Series S to their sibling or whatever, which is what I've completely did with my kids. I had an Xbox One, bought an Xbox One S, so my son got the Xbox One. Then I got Xbox One X, so my son gets the Xbox One S. So I think that's the key thing. I think it's more just a commercial good valued price offering, which will sell lots. And the Xbox One X is the sort of, the premium offering, really, the show car that sort of showcases the Xbox games. But this is you don't go in and get the top of the range car. Some people do because they can afford it, but most people on the advertising will be the top of the range car, but most people will get a middle range car. And this is the middle range car. That's the way I see it. It's a good price, 250 quid. It's a Christmas present price.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I think actually there's a couple of facts that I got wrong. It's because I've been reading tweets all day. So it says here that actually it's supports up to 1440p and 120 FPS with ray tracing, and includes a 512 gig custom SSD. It really is. I mean, it's again, it's a halfway house because you ain't getting much on a 512 gig custom SSD. This is very much about.
I think that's replace your game.
Yeah, you're going to get a couple of games on this, and you're going to stream the rest.
Done with that game, take it off. You're going to have that old dilemma about which game do I have to delete.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you could put an external on it.
Yeah, I think they've done that for price.
Absolutely. I mean, look, this is a headline grabber.
Make it work.
It's a headline grabber. I don't think for 1 minute that they decided because of COVID to pull this out. They don't. It takes longer than 5 months to create and produce.
But I think they needed that halfway house offering. That
makes people go. I think they needed it to compete with the PlayStation. I don't think they did it sort of as an altruistic gesture to mankind.
No,
I think
they did it to sell shift boxes.
They did it because they got caught short when the PS4 came out.
Yeah,
and they came in and undercut them with an offering that just left them reeling. So this time they've said, well, okay, if we took away some of the stuff that we've got with this big brother, what is the absolute lowest price point we can get this down to? And the answer is $300.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I mean, I think we'll see. The other point that I was going to make was I don't think this was leaked. I think that's just part of the marketing. I think that it looks it makes a good story. It goes, people like,
this wild on Twitter.
Naughty. Yes, massive. And if they'd have done it as a big formal thing, it would still have had that. But I think people love the idea of thinking they found something out and sharing it. So it's a marketing thing. I also think that we're about to see the PS5 prices anyway. And I have had a feeling for a while that they are going to be less than we've been touting as well. So I don't think they've got a $299 up their sleeves, but I do think that they've probably got something just inside the late 300s. So it's going to be interesting to see how the two fare.
Yeah, it's interesting, but there's going to be it's a price war in terms of getting it just right.
Yes, but I think Xbox overall at the moment, until we are exposed to more of Sony's strategy, I think Microsoft have played the best hand so far, not just with the $299 price, but with the Game Pass Ultimate, with the xCloud built in. The fact that you can, I forget the name of the initiative now, but you can basically pay £20 a month.
Is it Ultimate Access?
Ultimate Access. You get the box.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
You get the Ultimate thrown in.
It's like mobile phone rental, isn't it?
Yeah, and you're paying marginally more than if you just bought the Ultimate. So I mean, it has the downside, as I said today, that it is a financing option. It is a credit contract. That shouldn't be taken lightly. Definitely not in this time, in this day and age, because we don't know, any of us, what we're going to be in a year's time financially. So I would just say word of caution on that. But
I'd counter. Fuck it, do it. It's funny because last year they rolled out Ultimate Access, and I was very tempted. Because this is before I'd got my Xbox One X. Yeah. They were offering you, so about 15 months before the launch of the Xbox One Series X, they were offering you ultimate access to get an Xbox One X, and you could automatically upgrade to the Xbox One Series X when it launched. And they did it in there was a small time frame in which that offer was available, because obviously they need you to have the Xbox One X for at least 12 months. And I was thinking, that's a tempting, that's a tempting offer. In the end, I bought my Xbox One X secondhand off Magpie Music.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a special offer, so which knocked another 20 quid off it. Magpie Music did. So it cost me about 210 quid.
They're good.
And then I sold my old Xbox to somebody locally for 100 quid.
Christ.
So effectively, my Xbox One X cost me 110 quid.
Yeah, very good. But it's still an Xbox, mate. I'm sorry. My mind says deal, my heart says no deal.
I know.
And it's that poxy controller that breaks it for me every time.
I love that controller.
Nah, mate, this is this thing of beauty. Thing of beauty. Look at it. It balances well. It's light.
Yeah.
It's got its own rechargeable battery. You don't have to keep taking out the AA's.
That's it. See, the old loyalty, like you make a decision and you just sort of it becomes your thing, doesn't it? That's the thing.
But I do love Game Pass Ultimate and Game Pass, and I'm absolutely all in on that, as you know. So the software and the the infrastructure behind that, I'm totally in on that. And I may ultimately, I don't know. There's no need. I mean,
if you're, PlayStation's your thing, and
there would be no. I cannot justify just having a load of kit because it's kit when ultimately it's the games that's on the thing that matters. And I don't think the interface is particularly brilliant. I'd love to think they're going to they're going to update it substantially, but I suspect not. And so it comes down to the games. And if you've got Game Pass on PC, you can play those games.
Yeah. I think Xbox strategy is much more the general gamer. That's their appeal. For people who are sort of, I think PlayStation's always been the gamer's console. Just in my perception of it, it's been the sort of the gamer's console, the slightly more purists console, whereas Xbox has been more the generalist.
See, it's funny because I've always seen the reverse. I've always felt the PlayStation is more the hobbyist gamer, whereas the Xbox is your more esports kind of competitor.
Yeah. Okay. Because it had a PC history.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so. But typically, whenever I hear of like your Dr. Disrespect and those kinds of guys, they tend to come from the Xbox world rather than the PlayStation. And in fact, a lot of them that I know from PlayStation that went to become that moved to PC from PlayStation. I don't know of many that have stuck out with PlayStation as a competitive environment.
Pasadena makes a good point here, is that Xbox paved the way for online console gaming. So it made that competitive online gaming, the sort of shoot 'em up stuff through Halo and stuff like that.
Yes. That's true.
Very, very popular. And a lot of those YouTubers, cut their teeth on playing the Halo, what was it called? The competitive PvP Halo element. I forget what it's called. It slipped out my mind. But Ninja came from that background. Summit 1G did. So they've got a history of that kind of gameplay and game style, I think. Anyway, next up, I don't think you've got a link to it, but it's Ubisoft.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah, you didn't give a link on it, but do you want to say what's happening?
Yeah, sure thing. So on the 10th, I think it's this Thursday or Friday? I forget now. 8, 9, 10, Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday is Ubisoft Forward, I think it's called, or maybe Ubi Forward, but it's essentially it's a big event They had one not that long ago, interestingly enough. It was only, what, a month or two ago, where they gave away Watch Dogs 2 if you were watching it. So this one's come fairly shortly after the last one, which is not hugely surprising given that we're now in that big launch phase pre-Christmas. All the big titles are coming out. We know Watch Dogs Legions, we know Assassin's Creed Valhalla, we now know Far Cry 6 just shortly into next year, and of course Hyperscape as well. They're still trying to push, but there is a very strong possibility, and I've had it hinted to me behind the scenes that it's a very strong possibility that they will be announcing Uplay Plus for Stadia. Now, I said this at the last one, so I do reserve the right to be wrong.
A broken clock is correct twice a day.
Twice a day, absolutely. I'm hoping this may be one of those twice a days, because I think we're getting close to it now. And this is probably the last Ubisoft event of the year, and we assume that there will be a Connect at the end of September, beginning of October. So it's about the point where they're going to say something. I initially didn't think they would, because my feeling was that it seems to follow that Stadia break the news, or at least like to break the news and control the news process. But I've been reliably informed that that isn't the case here.
Well, it's, in effect, it's weird. Yeah, it's an Ubisoft product. And often I'm just stopping it, trying to see it, because I saw a clip here. Sorry, is this Rise of the Phoenix or whatever the Gods and Monsters?
That is Rainbow Six Siege.
No, that is, yeah. That is Legion. There.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Yeah, it could be Phoenix. Looks like it to me.
That looks nothing like
the one that Eddie played.
The very, but also the trailer.
But it could be a cutscene, though. In fairness, I mean, they could be doing. There's two types of cutscene: the one that uses in-game graphics and the one that uses some Hollywood studio.
Yeah.
And this could well be the latter. But I think you're right, though. I do think that's what we are seeing here. What was formerly known as Gods and Monsters and is now known as Phoenix Rising, I believe.
Yeah. So I just saw that, and I just thought, that.
Well, we have a date. Good. We have a date, I think, of December the 3rd for Phoenix.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to be mentioned this week. The other thing to bear in mind, folks, if you didn't know this, is that if you, like last time, if you watch it through your Ubisoft account, which you can get for free if you don't have one, they will be dropping loot on your account. So last time it was Watch Dogs 2, not an insignificant piece of software. If you may have missed this, but they've just finished giving Division away for a week. You could collect Division if you have for the PC. I missed it by one flipping day. I played it anyway, and I own it on PS4, but I thought, what the heck? So it could well be that they're going to do something. Who knows? Division 2 may well be it's probably ripe for that, because they're now in the phase of making money out of DLCs anyway. Nobody's buying the game anymore for full price, so they may as well give it away. They've got a big DLC still kicking around, so that could be happening. So that's worth tuning in for if you don't have a copy of Division.
There's a pre-show at 7 p.m. BST, so it starts at 8.
Yeah, they tend to have an hour either side,
and there's a pre-show. Just FYI for people who are interested.
So definitely that one. And Rainbow Six Siege. We know we know all of this stuff's coming to Stadia. It's coming to Stadia via Uplay Plus, if nothing else. It's just when they start to announce it, and we're hoping it's going to be on Thursday. There'll be a Cloudy doing a stream. I'll be in on that as well.
It's something to look forward to, because we know that Ubisoft, even if they don't announce that, there may be games updates and stuff, and we know that those games are more than likely to be coming to Stadia because of the relationship between Stadia and Ubisoft. So it's be worth watching it as a Stadia fan and an Ubisoft fan from that point of view.
Absolutely, my favorite studio.
Elsewhere in the good news, so this was in the BBC here. PUBG cuts video game ties with Tencent in India after ban. So the Indian government banned loads and loads of apps that had a sort of a Chinese base. That's the point. So any links to China. Now, obviously, Tencent are key to the distribution of the PUBG mobile version in India. So PUBG was one of those games that got banned in India. And as I've pointed out on various different shows, when I'm doing some research into PUBG on mobile, there are 50 million players PUBG mobile in India. So it's quite a significant ban. I mean, it's all apps, but with links to China. But PUBG is, that's going to have a serious impact on PUBG's income. If suddenly you lose imagine losing just 50 million players like that. So what's the solution? Simple. Cut ties with Tencent in India and publish it yourself, which is what PUBG are effectively doing. The PUBG Corporation said, we'll take over publishing responsibilities. And that way it's nothing to do with Tencent, no Chinese links. So hopefully they can restore it, which makes sense.
Presumably there'll be a clause in their contract which essentially says if you can't provide this software in the territory, the contract is no longer.
It's been frustrated, valid. Exactly. So so they would probably have a good reason to sort of say your contract cannot function, effectively in breach.
Yep.
So can be null and void, and there'll be conversation. Tencent will probably understand the situation in that, and there'll be some commercial deal that should things change, they'll be back in, I imagine, because Tencent confirmed its partnerships with PUBG Corporation in other markets would not be affected by the move. So it's just a sort of, look, we're happy with you, Tencent, distributing around the world. It's just, this is a major problem in India if we can't distribute PUBG on mobile, and this is the best solution.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think, Clive, given the current climate, which is kind of anti-Chinese, that we'll see this happening in other territories? I know at this moment in time, nobody has as strained a relationship as India for very obvious geopolitical reasons, except potentially America.
Yeah. Do you think? I think this is probably highly, I can imagine, without getting too political, that India's decision is highly influenced by America. They both like to be considered strong leaders, the head of India and obviously the head of America, and they've shown sort of mutual affection, as it were, to each other. So I imagine that there's, they're sort of towing the line of America there. So as we've seen with TikTok in America, there are potentially solutions, i.e., sell it to Microsoft or whoever it is and let them run the American arm. It's a sort of simple workaround. It's pretty obvious. It's like, okay, we'll cut ties with any Chinese stuff and job done.
Yep. And of course, they're both nuclear nations. I mean, India is a nuclear nation as well. And nuclear nations tend to be aggressive by nature. They don't tend to do things timidly. They have to justify their spend. So they usually do come all guns blazing, and then stuff calms down over time.
Yeah. Okay. So as we move gently from world destruction and global domination, great game.
Could happen.
What was it in that James Bond movie with Pierce Brosnan, where they play this game with the baddie, and it's called Global Domination? No, it's Sean Connery in that. I told you about the James Bond licensing issue they had briefly.
Yes,
and so they made Universal made the Never Say Never Again.
Yeah.
And anyway, I think it's in that. So Sean Connery's got a great wig in that, superb wig, because obviously he was aging wig a bit. But he plays a game against the sort of the villain of the piece, and it's called Global Domination. And they hold these sort of joint joysticks and then sort of nuke a virtual map. And then if their country gets they can't defend their country, then they get electric shock back from the controller sticks. And of course, obviously, Sean Connery, James Bond can take. He keeps getting shocked, and the evil guy is getting more megalomaniacal about it and going crazy. But he can take the shocks, and then Sean Connery gets the idea of it, and then slowly reverses the stuff. Anyway, classic. And obviously uses sort of latest computer technology, which now looks awful. Yeah. Terrible.
What was it? Never say never again.
Never say never again. Look at a global domination. Look at that scene on YouTube. It's quite amusing. Very tacky. But anyway, away from global domination and world destruction and the Third World War, something a bit more lighthearted, because it is the end of the news. So it's the and finally bit. This, he says. So there's lots of things coming out to celebrate 35th Super Mario Brothers, and this caught my eye.
It's a cake.
Oh, no.
Oh, that looks so good.
It's an augmented reality racetrack.
With a free board.
So you get these toy cars, and you control them remotely with your Wii, and you're looking at the camera here through your Wii, and then it projects the other cars that you're racing against.
OMG.
Yeah.
Stuff your Xbox S. I want one of these.
This is awesome. I want one. I think I've discovered
Scale X tricks of the 2020.
Yeah. See, so it's a real toy car, and you set up the track, and then you drive and watch through your Wii controller.
Wow. Of course, it helps if you've got a huge bloody lounge.
Yeah, obviously. That's always the problem with Scale Electric. A lumpy carpet.
Yeah. And there's all wooden floor in the size of a
of course,
size of a warehouse.
That's how my life is.
Yeah. I have to say, this is how much? What are we talking about?
I don't know. Good question. I was just so excited. You got that price.
I want it.
Yeah.
Well, that is it. That's my Christmas present.
Coming out there,
16th
of October. Mario Kart Live home circuit.
So you need a Switch.
How awesome is that?
And you need a Wii.
Yeah, you need your Wii.
Yeah. And a Switch.
They're always innovative, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are.
Nintendo. That is really cool. The combination, the real life and the computer gaming.
Bargain. Sean's Warlock says it's 100 quid. Man,
100 quid?
Bargain.
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 It's 100 quid. I think that's my son's. I don't know. Is he too old now? It'd be
no, get out of here. We're 53. We want it.
No, I'm not.
Well, you're almost there. Don't be
No,
coy.
I mean, I'm not too old. So, I mean, I've gone beyond that thing. A kid, they're young enough, and then they have that window where they go, "Oh God, no, I'm too old, Dad." And then they go back and appreciate these things, maybe in their 20s and 30s, go, "Oh man," and they discover it all again.
It's funny, because since
Scale
we've been doing
Electric for the
this show,
21st century.
I had no interest in Nintendo whatsoever, but since we've been doing this, I've been like, oh, I'm tempted to get a Switch, and I love the Mario Kart, and you're doing it for
that. Yeah, it does look really cool.
It looks amazing,
and it's such a brilliant, simple idea. While all the sort of Sony's and Microsoft are so sort of concentrated on your kind of gaming, hardcore gaming, Nintendo off doing their own little thing. Just brilliant.
So it's anyway, 110 quid, including shipping. But that's for what I think you only get the one car.
Yeah.
Drive a kart in the real world. So yeah, I don't know how much additional karts are.
It's always the way, isn't it?
Always the way. But I guess the idea is that your mates get it.
Yeah,
you all come
bring
round.
Their car round.
He puts his blue one down, you put your green one down, or whatever, and you go for it. But Oh, that's a cracking idea. You're right.
It's great.
It's so
It does
innovative.
look good.
Yeah,
I'd like to see it in action, but yeah.
definitely.
Rip up the carpet, get your floorboards down.
Kill the cat.
Good. Yeah.
Just aim for the cat every time.
Okay, aim for the cat. Yeah. Let us know in the chat whether that's sort of, that appeals to you. Just curious.
If it doesn't, get out of here. Go on, get out.
Right then, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going now to On This Day. So on this day, I found this interesting one. It's a Dreamcast game, and there's a theme to this, which will a bit of a theme in the show later. You'll see this, but it's this, ladies and gentlemen. It is Soul Calibur. Was launched on the Dreamcast on September the 8th, 1999. Let me just get up there.
Sol Campbell, you say?
Yeah, Soul Campbell. Yeah.
Wow.
Soul Calibur, you.
Oh, blimey. He's a young'un. Soul Campbell, you say?
Namco. So it's this was released, as I say, September the 8th, 1999, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe that? It's fighting game here on the Dreamcast. Right, I'm going to do my best Japanese now. Bear with. We'll put that music down. So, I've got my Japanese name here. Soul Calibur is a weapon-based fighting video game franchise. Did you like that? Soul Calibur is a weapon-based fighting video game franchise by Bandai Namco Entertainment. There are 7 main installments of the video games and various media spin-offs, of course, including the music albums, a series of manga books, which were originally released. So this game was originally released as an arcade game, because obviously fighting games, called Soul Edge in 1995, later ported to video game consoles, and more recent versions have been released for consoles only, and they've sort of evolved over time to include online playing modes, of course. The central motif of the series is it's sort of set in a historical fantasy version of the late 16th century and early 17th century, as well, with mythical swords and stuff like that. The evil weapons called the Soul Edge, and the subsequent sword used to oppose this evil, Soul Calibur. Cast as 2 words, while the game's title is written as 1. Interesting little fact there. But yeah, on this day, September the 8th, 1999, so not quite. Yeah, I was on this day. So there we are. So let's know in the chat. Stadium Mania says, love Soul Calibur. First one on the Dreamcast, second one on GameCube, and and the second one on GameCube and Xbox, etc., etc. Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. So on this day, Soul Calibur. There you go. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to that bit of the show which we like to call the Generation X game. Yes, it's everybody's favorite. Wrong one. Where's my button gone? Oh, well, we won't have it. For some reason, it's defaulted to something.
Oh, no.
Oh, where's the title sequence gone?
I know.
Never mind.
We got your Q-tips instead.
I know, exactly. Anyway, so it's a Generation X game, and I'll go first on this one today because that's how it's written. So for me, my game is carrying on, oddly enough, on the theme of Soul Calibur, is this delightful little game, he says. Which now this I'm going to show. This is from the 4th iteration, which is actually, so this is it. It was actually called.
This is a HelloFresh
An advert
box
for
with
HelloFresh.
everything you need to
No,
turn
it's not
these
that.
ingredients
That's
into
my
an
favorite game of all time.
Yep, it's this, ladies and gentlemen. I love this particularly opening sequence on this version of the game.
What is it?
With its sort of scratchy art style. It's Street Fighter. In this case, it's Super Strife. Flipping heck. It's Super Street Fighter.
It's Super Wife.
4. Yeah. Jesus, that was a mouthful.
That's what she said.
Easy. So yeah, it's basically Street Fighter is the game, ladies and gentlemen. I really like Street Fighter, and I say this opening of Street Fighter 4, which for me retains the feel of the arcade system game in its spirit. This was on the consoles, this particular version, and I love this sort of sketch-drawn opening sequence to this whole intro. They're all great intros, very similar. But Street Fighter, more Japanese coming now. In Japanese, of course, is called Sotorito Fighter. Sotorito Fighter, commonly abbreviated as FF or SOTO, is a fighting video game franchise developed and published by, of course, Capcom. The first game in the series was released in 1987, ladies and gentlemen,
wow.
followed by 5 other main series games. So I think they are at Street Fighter 5 now. There's various spin-offs, crossovers, numerous appearances in various other. In fact, oh damn, I've got a Street Fighter comic, which I picked up recently from a antiques store, weirdly enough. But yeah, so they did a series of comics based around the characters and stuff. And the thing about Street Fighter is that it is basically considered to be the game, the fighting game that established many of the conventions of the one-on-one fighting game genre that we see today. Interesting fact as well, Street Fighter is one of the highest grossing video game franchises of all time, which is quite something, and serves as a flagship series with total sales of 44 million units worldwide as of December the 31st, 2019, apparently. And what I like about this particular Street Fighter in particular is the violence is less horrific than Mortal Kombat, which is just off the scale in terms of its horrificness, which I understand is the point of it.
The draw.
But I find it problematic. But as I say, as we know, in if you watch the High Score documentary, the game documentary on Netflix, thank you, Netflix. That was the point, because they had the 2 guys there that developed Mortal Kombat and stuff like that. So we know that gore, that horrific, over-the-top gore, was very much the point of Mortal Kombat. But I like Street Fighter because it doesn't have that, which for me is, makes it cool. But as I say, it laid the land for many of the conventions that we see in the Street Fighter genre. Now, it features as well, of course, the Hadouken. The Hadouken. Now, if you don't know what Hadouken is, well, where have you been, my friends? It's this, if I get it right. Oh. Right, so it's this sort of move where your sort of special move is summoning up this sort of chi power you know, sort of you throw this energy and it will knock the person over. In fact, I just noticed on the next video, there, look, it's got Family Guy doing it.
Yeah.
Right. But this whole thing, there it is. Look, Street Fighter, Peter with Mr. Washy Washy. Sure, that's a little bit
Mr. Washy Washy. There he is.
But but I'm just showing this because I wasn't going to show this bit, but actually it's quite funny. But it just goes to show how it sort of seeped into culture of all the sort of as a computer game. I think it's and certainly of the fighting games, it's the major one that sort of seeped into popular culture. And a few years ago, it became the Hadouken bit became a big meme, which I'm going to share here, where they were recreated. So what people would do is take photographs like this. So we'll see here. So just somebody on the beach, they're recreating it, and then they take a photo, and he's using the sun as the sort of power coming out, and then his friends. And then there's this one. And it became a massive craze, especially in Japanese schools, where they would recreate it. That's quite an amusing one. Somebody just added in the cartoon with the dog. This one's funny with a kid. Trampoline. And again, so it was really popular with Japanese school kids and stuff, and they were all recreating the Hadouken move. It's one with a cat. But these ones I really like. These are really clever. That's a great one. That's a good one. That's quite good. That's my favorite of these particular ones. That's quite good. They've added in the graphic. But ladies and gentlemen, I'll show you what is the best one in my opinion. And it's this.
Is it you?
Well,
is it your children?
This is my kids. So this was, I don't know, this must have been like 6-7 years ago. So actually that's when the meme craze was over. But I decided I would get my kids to recreate the Hadouken. And I think they did a really good job.
Really good job.
She's got the kind of whole taking the impact of the Hadouken in a kind of belly there and sort of folding over. I mean, he must have been about 4 or something, if that, maybe younger. He's just got the whole move there. But anyway, so yeah, it's really moved into popular culture. And of course, just to drive this home, ladies and gentlemen, it's also a name of a song by a popular sweet songstress that you might all know and love. Can you guess who?
Kylie.
Yeah.
Well,
let's not get copyright straight. So, the lovely Nicki Minaj released a song called Chun-Li. And she's got all the kind of Chinese theme going on there, and obviously the look and stuff like that. But the character of Chun-Li, one of the characters which I'll come to, is called Chun-Li, and this song is called Chun-Li, and it's she sort of styled herself slightly on the kind of look of Chun-Li, and it's got all these sort of Chinese elements to it, stuff like that. Yeah,
this is a bit racy.
Yeah, well, that's mild for old Miss Minaj. Yeah,
Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, Miss Minaj, Nicki Minaj. Yeah, yeah. She's a female chanteuse of the poetry and beat combo genre, popular with youngsters, my lord. Yes. Yeah. Interestingly, in that rap, I think she name checks Lara Croft. Lara Croft. Yeah. There are loads of iconic characters in it, of course. here all across the top. You can see here, and Chun-Li. This is the Chun-Li character with the little buns and stuff, and that's what Nicki Minaj had there and stuff like that. But all these characters kind of really. My daughter, who used to cosplayed as this character here called Crimson Viper. This character here, and it was a brilliant cosplay. We ordered some yellow sunglasses and off the internet, and I had to go to charity shop to find the right kind of belt and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
But she did an amazing cosplay of. I'm not going to show it here because she'd be mortified. But
I was hoping
yeah,
you were going to wear it.
So there we are. No, I'm not wearing it either. There we are, ladies, gentlemen. That's my game, Street Fighter. Right, Adam. Should I just go for your YouTube for your one?
I'm not playing.
No, yeah, you've got a good one.
Playing, mate. You just spent 30 minutes. You slam dunked it with your family photo and everything.
Sorry.
And then you expect me to compete?
Yes. You've got a good one. I had to go big.
Here's a clue, folks. I've returned to the mobile this week. I seem to have a mobile thing going on. Yes, it's Pokemon Go, which makes me chuckle every time I say it. It's only actually 4 years old. 2016 it was launched. So, again, arguably it's kind of retro, but it is, because let's be honest, in terms of mobile gaming, you can't go back very far, can you?
No, not really. No.
And the thing with this one, of course, was it was really what brought augmented reality to the public conscious.
Yeah.
Up until this, we were kind of familiar with VR, but all of a sudden there came this game, which mixed GPS, so where you were in the world, quite literally, and you had to walk around your environment to capture the little creatures in Pokemon world. And when you found them, you could also see them through your camera on your device. Interestingly enough, and I didn't realize this until I was researching it earlier, it started life as an April Fool's joke. So a developer or a senior developer at Nintendo, along with a director at the Pokemon Company, which is, I guess it's owned by Nintendo. They got together with Google and kind of to promote Google Maps, did a joke thing around April Fools, but it got traction and they thought, actually, this might have some legs. So they went and spoke to Niantic, who at the time were famous for doing, what do they call it?